Hey traders, it's John Fortune here with this week's weekly Forex forecast for the 16th of April to the 20th of April 2018. And as always, we're going to start by looking at the US dollar index and oil before running through a number of markets, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the process, as well as highlighting some of the targets that we're looking for in the coming week and also weeks ahead. So without further ado, let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. Starting with the US dollar index, we started the week last week in this area and we were looking for a decline down towards the bottom of this range here and the key area of support at the 89.59, and we achieved this target last week and we actually bounced at the end of the week. So you can see we have been in a range in the dollar index, and as we bounced from this area last week and we're starting the week back inside the range, we're very simply looking for further advances back up towards the next key area of resistance on the dollar index next week at the 90.37. And we hold this bias very lightly just because it is inside a range still, and therefore we'll be prepared to trade the individual pairs on their own merit next week. Next we have oil. Now last week we started the week at this key area of support and we said we wanted to see a further decline and a break first before we were looking to initiate shorts, and as you can see we actually bounced from here and we had a reversal in oil, and when we broke above this key area of resistance we came straight to the next. We broke through it, and as you can see we came back and tested broken resistance and support, and now we're starting to push to the upside. So very simply put, in oil, this is a great place to start to look for a pullback, possibly even another retest of broken resistance turning support. And if we get this kind of price action anywhere in this area, this is going to be a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking potentially next week at initiating longs in oil up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside, and the target set at 69.51. Next we have euro dollar. Now last week we started the week bouncing at the key area of support down here, and we said we were looking, this would be a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns, and we're looking back up to the range top up here at the 1.24461, and you see we did actually have a bounce last week. Now going into this week, this is a great place to start to look for maybe a little bit more of a pullback. We have had a bit of a pullback late last week. And if we get a pullback somewhere in this area, this would be a great place to start to look for potential bullish formations and patterns. And looking to accomplish the second part, you can see we came up about halfway towards the target from last week. Looking to accomplish the second part of this move next week potentially, with the key area of resistance and the target set at the 1.24461. Next we have pound dollar. Now last week we started the week in this area down here. We had bounced from the key area of support and we were starting the week up in this area. Now we didn't have this key area of support and resistance here last week. This was actually added newly this week, because you can see we've tested this now a number of times in the past, including last week, and we broke above it. So we were looking up towards the target from this area in the pound dollar at the 1.4216, which is here. You can see we came up to the target last week and we bounced, and we actually broke through this key area of resistance last week, and we start the week above this as broken resistance looking to turn support. So very simply put, if we get a pullback and a correction into this area, this would be a great place next week to start to look for bullish formations and patterns, and we're going to be looking at potentially initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside, and the target set at the 1.4343. Next we have US dollar yen. Now we actually started last week below the key area of resistance in this area here, and you can see this is why we take only a light bullish bias and we're prepared to trade the pairs this week on their own merit, because last week we had a decline in the dollar index and yet we saw the US dollar yen, with the US dollar as the primary currency, actually appreciate in value and break above the key area of resistance. This because the dollar index is actually still in the range. So we broke above this key area of resistance and we start the week testing broken resistance and support. So going into next week, this is a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And if we get this kind of price action, we're going to be looking potentially at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance and target set to the upside at the 108.179. Next we have the Aussie dollar. Now last week we actually started the week below the 0.77157 in this area, and we said we were potentially looking for a pullback and a retest somewhere in this area, possibly even a retest here. And we're looking for bearish formations patterns. You see we actually broke straight through the resistance and we came up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside. And this is the kind of time when you can reverse these positions and use the resistance areas in the opposite direction if you so wish. And we bounced here, we accumulated underneath here, and we actually start the week now breaking above here and retesting broken resistance as support. So going into this week, very simply put, this is a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And if we get those patterns, we're going to be looking at potentially initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 0.78406. Next, we have New Zealand dollar. Now, last week we started the week below the key area of resistance, and this was actually a bit of a range in the New Zealand dollar, and we broke above this key area of resistance. And you can see as we broke above here, we came straight up to the next key area of resistance highlighted from last week, and we broke above here as well. And we've tested once, twice, 3 times as support this previous broken resistance turning support. As a result, we start the week above this key area of broken resistance, now support. And very simply put, this is a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And if we get the right kind of bullish formations and patterns in this area, we're going to be looking at potentially initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 0.74189. Next, we have US dollar franc. Now, last week we actually pulled all the way back and bounced at the key area of support at the 0.95355. And we started to make our way up towards the next key area of resistance, the first target that we had set from last week at 0.96602. You can see we're actually approaching this first target now. And as a result, there may be a risk to reward issue here, but any pullback into this area, if we can get a little bit of further pullback, I think a retest of this support again would be too ambitious, but any pullback into this area would provide a great place to start to look for bullish opportunities. And if we get the bullish formations and patterns that we're looking for in this area, this could be a great place to start to initiate longs up towards the first target and next key area resistance to the upside, target 1 at 0.96602. And if we get a breakthrough here, we're looking up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and target 2 at the 0.97081. Next, we have US dollar CAD. Now, last week we started the week in this area and we were looking for a move down towards the next key area of support to the downside at the 1.26325, which was here in the target set from last week. And we actually broke through the target, and now you can see we're accumulating underneath this key area of broken support, looking to turn resistance potentially this week. And if we get a pullback and a retest of broken support turn resistance in this area, this would be a great place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we'll be looking to initiate shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target set at the 1.24608. And finally, we have gold. Now, last week we started the week above this key area of support here at the 1329.53, and we said we were looking for a move all the way up towards the target and next key area of resistance to the upside at the 1357.29. You can see we did actually have this move. This was a pretty fantastic move, and in fact you can go back and see on the channel last week we actually put up a live trade of this video that we did in the live room with our clients to capture this move, and it was just shy of $4,000 profit on a real account. You can see that on the channel. And so very simply put, this week we bounced from here, as you can see, and we sold off quite heavily. So if we get a pullback, possibly even another retest of support, and this starts to act as a bit of a range, this would be another great place to look for a copy essentially of this move over here. And this would be a great place to start once again to look for bullish formations and patterns. And we'll be looking at initiating longs back up towards the target in the range top at the 1357.29. Now, the other thing to note is we have had strikes on Syria from the US, the UK, and also France this weekend. And so there is likely to be a potential gap in the market on gold and possibly even a few of the currency pairs on Monday. So this is something that needs to be considered going into next week as well. So that is it from me for this weekend, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video as always, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. A big thank you to all of you who do that on a regular basis, and those of you who comment and who have already subscribed, thank you once again. Don't forget you can join us in the free live rooms that we teach. We give out professional training to our clients absolutely free. There's no subscription cost for the live rooms at all. And you can get these by opening up an account with Portex. For further information on this, if you really do want to learn how to trade the market successfully and you want to join us in the free live rooms, then why not check out the link in the description below for more details. So with that, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have a really great week next week. Don't forget to watch out for potential gaps in the market on Monday on the opening. And with that, guys, the only thing left to say is take care and don't forget to trade safely.